You know, but how will you respond to those who will say that at the end of the day, your entry into politics only confirms what the BJP and the Prime Minister have been saying, that the Valley parties, NC and PDP are essentially party of dynasties. The Muftis on one side, the Abdullahs on the other.
So Chirag Paswan is not a dynast. Chirag Paswan is not a dynast. Anurag Thakur is not a dynast. You know, Jagan Reddy, who was their alliance partner, he's not a dynast. So you have a problem with dynasts only when they're against you. I am pretty sure tomorrow, God forbid, I have no plans of joining BJP, but if any of these parties had an alliance with the BJP, everything would be hunky-dory. You see, anything and everything that the BJP says has to be seen through the prism of, you know, their own strategic interests of what suits them. What is not convenient, then you're very conveniently dubbed as a family party. But let me tell you, Mufti Sahab and Mehbooba ji have been unlike any political party which is seen as to be run by a family. If you see Mufti Sahab, my grandfather struggled for decades, Rajdeep. I can literally count on my fingers the number of elections he won. It was only when my mother, when Miss Mehbooba Mufti entered politics, that he got a chance to be the chief minister, which was his dream. It was his dream for a purpose, because he wanted to see a happy, a peaceful Jammu and Kashmir. So we are unlike any other political families, and this is not something that I even need to prove to the BJP. But please explain to me, why don't they have a problem with Chirag Paswan? Why don't they have a problem with Anurag Thakur? Why don't they have a problem with other political families, with the Badals, you know, who until recently were their allies? Why do they just have a problem with us? Is it because we're Muslims?
No,
is it because we're Muslims? Is it because I'm from a Muslim majority state?
You know, that's a contentious, provocative statement that you've just made. The irony is, of course, that Mufti Saab tied up with the BJP, tied up with Narendra Modi exactly a decade ago. The wheel has come full circle.
For a purpose, Rajdeep. He tied up with Modi ji for a purpose, for a reason. कहते हैं ना, when you take a decision, it's your intention, it's your niyat which matters. If Mufti Sahab wanted to usurp a seat, a throne, you know, which everybody projects that we were sort of like power hungry, he would have gone with the Congress. The reason being, you know, the reason why they allied with the BJP was because he thought that if Vajpayee ji could be moderated, so could Modi ji. But unfortunately, that did not happen. He thought that he could moderate Modi ji if, you know, if a coalition was formed between BJP and a Muslim regional party in Kashmir. But that didn't happen. But that doesn't mean that his intention was wrong. Otherwise, if he just wanted power, Rajdeep, he could have even allied with the Congress.
Am I right, though, to say that post-elections you hope to craft a coalition that will include NC and the Congress? Is the BJP the party now that you will try and keep away the Gupkar alliance that you had formed after Article 370 was abrogated? Is it still in shape? Is the India alliance still in place?
On one hand,
are you very clear that the BJP is your enemy number one? Or is the NC Congress your enemy number one?
Well, on one hand, your first two questions was about how PDP is being written off and we have no scope or space in the alliance. And now you're asking me a question which is completely like diametrically opposite.
No, if you get 4 or 5 seats, who will you align with?
When we began the interview...
No, who will you align with? If post-election you have 4 or 5 seats, who will you align with?
That's a question that is best directed at Miss Mehbooba Mufti, because you are forgetting I'm a very small purza in PDP. I am not somebody who's going to take such important, crucial decisions. But obviously, if it comes to an alliance, we would want to support. We are not going to...
Yeah, you're not going to support the BJP, right?
Yeah.
No question of supporting the BJP.
Of course not, Rajdeep. Of course not. But this is a question which is best directed at Miss Mehbooba Mufti. But I find it quite amusing that on one hand, you're writing us off, and on the other hand, you're making us to be these kingmakers, which of course I hope that we are going to be, because at the end of the day, an alliance is, you know, about those 5-6 seats and who that party decides to support.
Okay. So you hope to be kingmaker or queenmaker after this election. We look forward, though, to your political debut. What's the most difficult thing to make this transition now to becoming a full-time politician, ma'am?
Oh my God, I don't know where to begin from. It's been incredible. It's been an incredible experience, but I wasn't expecting to do this. I didn't think that my life would, you know, sort of like culminate here. And the reason why I really wanted to speak to you was because I felt that my life has come full circle. If you remember 5 years ago, it was your show that I got on for the first time, and everybody kind of like noticed when I spoke at your conclave. So I thought it was befitting to be here. But I think all of it is very overwhelming. I'm not coming in at a time where everything is hunky-dory in Kashmir. You know, we're going through a very turbulent period where there's been a sense of siege. There's a sense of despondency, despair, and to kind of like dispel that is going to be incredibly hard. Like, how do you give people the power to hope, you know, the audacity of hope? How do you tell them to hope for a better future when you know that there's a government sitting in Delhi that is going to take decisions repeatedly every day that wants to disinherit, dispossess and disempower the people of Jammu and Kashmir? So for me, that really essentially is the biggest challenge that, you know, amongst like whatever is happening here in this atmosphere of despondency, how do I give my people hope? How do I, you know, be a positive influence, a positive force, you know, to kind of like reckon with?